What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Six Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 139, and thank you guys for joining us. Filling in for your host, as always.
Wait. Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
First,
I'm here. I'm interested in what you have to say, but go ahead.
You're not filling in as always.
I'm filling in for your host, as always.
Your wonderful host has made a triumphant return. Thank you guys so very much
You
for
said
having
you're not
me.
hosting, so I'm filling in.
But I'm not. But I am here today.
Now I do expect you about halfway through to take over.
I'll see what I can do.
Because that usually happens. Like once you get into it, you just kind of start.
Yeah,
anyway, we have an awesome and illustrious group of co-hosts with us. Starting out with Comrade Pantherian.
Filling in your host as always.
Oh God.
Thank you, sir.
If I see one Yowie, I'm quitting the internet.
And our
everyone.
Yowie.
I'm quitting the internet.
How do you spell that show?
Y-A or Y-O-A-I, something like that.
Like that? Like that in chat?
What?
Oh, you're not in chat. No.
I'm not in chat.
How are you supposed to see the Yowies if you're not in chat?
Because I don't want to.
Ladies and gentlemen, our usual host that hasn't been hosting for what has it been, 3-4 years?
Something.
It's been up there.
It's been a little while, yeah.
Mr. Shosan, welcome back. We are
Hi,
glad to have you here.
guys.
Oh, that's a Yowie right there, Pen.
Oh God. Why is my browser not working?
Oh, Yowie indeed. And
here, I'll send it to your show. Here.
Joining us this week with a much more improved Mike, who's currently muted.
And maybe Doug. And possibly Bill.
Could be David, but he's muted. We don't know. Mr. Solo Mail.
Heyo.
There he is with the much better sounding mic.
Yep. I got a new cable. It's a USB cable rather than a 6.3 millimeter connector thing that's for audio equipment. So now there's no interference with the motherboard.
Awesome. Yeah, that's annoying. I've had that happen before. It is extremely annoying when that happens. Like I tried to broadcast some Descent things with it, and it just was terrible. So anyway, we have a wonderful show for you. Kind of a bit short this week, but this will make up for the last few weeks going really long. So we're going to get right into it with the first half of the show. Now, Shosan, I have a question for you. Is this still your favorite part of the show?
This is still my favorite part of the show. It's amazing. You'd think it would get old, especially after not being here, but yeah, it's still a favorite.
Because I've not been able to do this properly for Solo Mail. Could you introduce this part of the show?
It's news!
We got to get your mic set back up. That was painful.
Was it really?
Yeah, that did not come through good at all.
Damn it.
Yeah, we got news. We have a little bit of news. And last week we talked about PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds potentially getting in trouble over in China. Well, there's been a couple of recent developments with this. First of all, Tencent has gotten exclusive rights to operate PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds in China, which is massive. Tencent, of course, used to be like I think they might even still be the parent company of Riot. I forget how that worked.
I believe they are.
But yeah. And then on top of that, they're going to go ahead and make it more friendly for the Chinese for the Chinese environment, including adding socialist messages, stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. That means that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is still going to get a audience in China. Did you guys hear that Tencent is now worth more than Facebook?
Really?
Facebook dropped out of the top 10.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
It's insane. This came out like early on in the week before Thanksgiving. But yeah, it's pretty cool. They definitely put out some really good titles there, so it's good to see that happening. But yeah, does anyone here? I think Pemp, you're like the only one that plays that among us, right?
Plays what?
PUBG.
Oh, PUBG.
Yeah,
I haven't played in a bit, but I played some. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's just one of those games where like there's a couple different ways you can play, right? You can drop into an area where there's a zillion people and you can have battles and hope that you make it out. or you can play the safe way where you'll probably make it into the final group. But it's like a stealth horror game at that point, right?
Right.
And it gets kind of then it becomes, if you last that long, it becomes like a half hour, 45-minute round. So
interesting.
I don't know. I've been playing other games.
Yeah, I haven't played it myself. I'm just not into the first person shooter type things. So we'll I don't know, but it's a good game. I mean, like we said last week. Last week when they were announced as Game of the Year, and they're like, "Oh, we don't think we deserve that." I'm like, "You guys made a cultural phenomenon, and you don't think you deserve Game of the Year?"
Yeah.
It's a very well received game, so it's definitely well deserved. But anyway, speaking of getting in trouble with the law, we've been talking about the whole deal with the whole deal with EA and their Star Wars Battlefront 2. We've talked about this previously with the latest Lord of the Rings game. And there's been lawmakers in Hawaii that are looking into targeting loot box systems with potentially some legislation to bring these things under control.
And by the way,
interesting.
By the way, I just got to mention. I just got mentioned that during one of the court cases, one of the persons that was explaining the situation to the court, and said, I quote, "This is a Star Wars themed online casino. It's a trap."
Oh, come on!
Hold on. This is
he said it.
Oh,
I can't believe that passed. Who is screening these people?
It's a trap.
You just couldn't resist.
It was a picture from some Black Friday sale. All the video games were sold out except for Battlefront.
Oh yeah, I saw a picture like that. Except at the bottom there was one copy of Sonic Forces.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, Sonic Forces. Someone was saying something about that recently on my Twitter feed too. I mean, this isn't a meme. This is an actual thing. I think it was a Descent friend of mine that goes by Ashes, if I remember correctly. I want to make sure that that's what I saw. Mass Effect. I guess it wasn't him. Oh yeah, it says right here. I haven't sold a single copy of Battlefront 2. Not as a bundle, not as a standalone game, and that was yesterday on Black Friday.
Yeah, EA might have to consider using Humble Bundle for this.
No
yeah, or something. Jesus.
And speaking of shit, what a great segue. Activision is fighting a patent. And this is a patent for Call of Duty.
And it's completely ridiculous, mind you.
It's shit. It's
a good thing that we have
Call of Duty, DOODEE.
It's the best news story we have this week.
Let the face palms commence, people.
And basically, they're seeking to oppose a patent filed in the U.S. for a dog waste removal service called the Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's not even a game. It's a dog poop. You know, like they'll come to your house and pick up all your dog poop.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, yeah.
Have you heard that theory where the world did end in 2012? We're all in a simulation, a la Saints Row 4.
Yeah, I've heard something about that.
That is the most reasonable explanation of the last few years.
Actually, there's a video that I watched on YouTube discussing whether or not we're in a computer simulation. He explained the math behind it, how it actually could work in theory. Which it was fascinating.
I was high as shit when I watched this.
Yeah, dude, it'll burn you out fast.
Yeah, and all I have to say about this is, I mean, they're fighting a patent in a realm that they don't even do anything. This is like
when Monster Cable was suing like Monster Putt Putt or whatever in New Jersey.
Exactly. It's so dumb.
Yeah. It's just going to be a waste of everyone's time.
And money, no doubt. So, yeah, Call of Duty right there.
Bad.
Meanwhile, Solo's scraped up a bit of news here about Ed McMillan is hinting about something that he found out. Why don't you explain this to us here?
Yeah, so he was featured on this podcast featuring that like normally has Northernlion and a few other people, and he mentioned kind of almost offhand that he knew the guy who originally developed Insane Aquarium and Plants vs Zombies, and when the series, like when they were going to make Plants vs Zombies 2, EA wanted to make it like a pay to win, and he refused, and then they fired him. That's what Edmund McMillan said about him. I'm not completely sure if it's completely true, like, but if it is, it's it wouldn't be surprising.
It may have been like that he didn't get fired, but like he was forced out, right?
Right.
They just make working there so shitty that you're like, okay, well, I'm quitting.
Electronic Arts, a wonderful place to work if you have no soul.
Right.
Unichronic Arts.
I just, I've said it 100 times. I really disagree with the idea of microtransactions anyway. It sounds like he is of a similar mindset and stood his ground at least on that topic. And
so I was just thinking, would you guys be interested in having a guest host, the guy who invented microtransactions?
Yes.
What would happen then?
We might be able to get him.
That would be amazing. I would love that.
By the way, guys, plot twist. I'm actually an artificial intelligence that did it in the first place.
I knew it.
I told him to do an AMA on Reddit. I don't know if he ever did.
He should. He totally should.
Yeah, he really should.
Transactions. Ask me anything. This Tuesday at Reddit.com. Go for it.
Everyone's like, you're going to get like questions about EA, and he's like, I will throw them under the bus because they took what is a thing that you should be able to do and made it shitty.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, I'm fairly pragmatic, but I can't get over it.
Hey guys, let's talk about EA some more.
Oh, I love EA.
It's such a good thing to talk. FIFA 18 fans have been organizing an in-game purchase boycott on Black Friday.
Good for them.
Because they disagree with the gameplay issues and the high cost of earning players, aka microtransactions. Boom, bitches.
Yeah. Good for them. Good for them.
Yes. I mean, it's going to come to the point, it already has really, where the fans are going to start revolting against EA because EA is just, they're bad. Sorry, guys, you're bad. You're bad.
They are one of the worst with microtransactions. I mean, Mass Effect, of all things, I think had it in there. They put it in everything now.
Yeah, and I think we've already had like 2 roundtables about this subject in the last month now.
Yeah,
it's like their names in the mud.
They bought like $30,000 worth of cards in Mass Effect 3 to do like the multiplayer stuff.
Yeah.
Played.
Yeah.
And so it's like if one guy buys $30,000 worth of stuff, then it's worth sticking in there.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be never ending with them until they change their ways.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm not tempted to like jump into it, but the problem is I'd have to buy it, and I don't think I can justify buying a FIFA game.
Yeah. So, I think that's it on EA because I'm just like done with EA. So
we're so over them.
Moving on. Speaking of more crap, and this sounds just like the thing that Activision would do here. Destiny 2 had some players had the sneaking suspicion that their XP system wasn't quite doing what they thought it should be. And Dan, you explain this a lot better than I can. Dan, that's you.
Uh-oh.
Dan. Is Dan? Oh, he might be.
He might be dead.
Yeah, he's off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan got disconnected. He probably tried connecting to that 6 gaming account on Twitch and just completely disconnect himself.
Oh yeah, that.
But basically, I'll try to fill in best I can for him here. The Destiny 2 XP system had they learned that it had diminishing returns for certain events the longer you played for XP. So you could only there's like a soft cap sort of on the experience you could earn. And people complain about it, and there's like a growing consensus, hey, this is rigged. And sure enough, Bungie finally came out and said, yeah, this is a problem, we're deactivating the system.
Which kind of raises the question, though, then why'd you have it in there to begin with? And I have to wonder about what they were thinking.
I'll tell you what they're thinking, because Blizzard has the same line of thinking with some of their games, where you should not have to sit down and play our games for 20 hours a day in order to get ahead.
Right.
That's what they're thinking. That. And it's like your time investment means less to them the more you play, which to me makes no sense.
Yeah, you'd almost think you'd want the traffic.
Exactly. So
I mean,
and this kind of seems like that kind of thing. The longer you play, the less XP you get. It's not worth playing. Go do something else for a while.
Yeah, I definitely think that what they're trying to do is trying to make more whales out of long-term players, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll be honest, that part of WoW is honestly what got me to desub.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like the fact that, okay, we're only going to allow you to progress so far through the storyline in the first week. No matter what you do during that first week, you cannot get any further. It's like, fuck this. Why am I here? And I get it. They don't want people burning through their content so fast that they complain that there's nothing to do for a year.
Right. I mean, I get it. And now I don't have Destiny 2. So I'll just say this. I guess it kind of depends on what these events are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's use the WoW equivalent, you know, if it's grinding dungeons, then sure, because you don't need that part of the game to level or continue. If it's like actual story or whatever type stuff, I'd have to wonder why you would do that.
Yep. And what I really love about what Blizzard has done with things like this, that it has been good, is the things that they try to make replayable. That, like, remember the challenge dungeons from Mist of Pandaria?
Yeah, that was a cool.
Those were so
kind
good.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun to try to just go as fast and as far as you can, and it worked out.
Yeah.
And welcome back, Dan.
Hi.
And
I think my favorite part of that was just seeing where your team stacked against everybody else. That was that extra challenge that was there.
exactly, and that's how you do something long term. It's not by extending your story out over months at a time. It's not by nerfing your XP gains over a certain amount of time. Stuff like that. It's, you know, you give people a reason to come back. That's why games are addictive. Is if you have a reason to come back. You know, if you play like once a week and you don't come back for the entire week because you're waiting on the next part of the story, or you stop playing after 3 hours because your XP capped for the day, maybe it's a soft cap, who knows, but you want to maximize your time. I don't think that's right. So,
Well,
there's that.
you could equate that almost to like a Netflix binge. You know, like I don't like watching just one show anymore and wait until next week when I can go online and watch the whole season.
Absolutely.
You know, or whatever.
Yeah, same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, we were talking about the Destiny 2 thing. So,
Yeah,
if you had any input on that.
I'm finding a picture of the Jito because Bitcoin went over 9,000.
It's over 9,000.
Wow, that meme totally didn't get old 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The thing is that it hasn't. That's the problem with this meme, is it's still not too old.
Yeah, I think that the meme that we really should be using that people haven't heard a million times is too bad it's Sunday.
Oh God. Yeah, the only reason that popped right out at me was because I picked up the Dragon Ball game on a Steam sale. So
there you go.
The Xenoverse. Yeah.
Anyway,
Hi.
What's up?
Just killing time, you know.
Oh, are we still on?
Yeah, we're still on. We didn't go anywhere. You did.
Wait, I thought we canceled the podcast.
Yeah, screw it.
Is that what you said, Ron?
Yep. Dan's gone. It's over,
canceled.
guys. Thanks for watching. See you next. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then the final news story that we had was, and we have talked about Steam and some of its reviewing system. They're always, it seems lately, they're always making some tweaks and modifications to their review system. And lately, they've been focusing on fighting potential spam, because we've seen, like, on other sites where the same review gets spammed multiple times over and over. And I'm trying to see exactly what they did here. I don't know who posted this, but they're like, basically what they're doing is diluting votes for people that are abusing the system.
Yeah, like if they can tell that someone's spamming the same, like, for example, when what's it called? Well, so there's actually two parts of this. There's shitty reviews that are being used to review bomb, and there's also spamming helpful on bad or good reviews to bring those reviews to the top.
Right.
So if there are a whole bunch of accounts that are all suddenly upvoting a certain response, then they start diluting those, which I think is good.
Yeah. So unless you guys got anything else for news, and there's no, I know that
No, on a side though, about that, are they going to apply that to this the season's awards type thing, the voting for the same game to hype it, or you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Steam, no idea. Crickets.
not a Crickets.
Yeah. So if you pull up a page on Steam, any game really, it'll say you can nominate this game for a specific award.
Oh,
And
those,
then
yeah.
right at the end, they do these awards, like most meme game ever or whatever. But of course, that's community voted. So I'd have to wonder if they're not going to apply the same thing to that.
Hey, by the way, there was an award called the Great Library Has Been Built in Another Land Reward, and I nominated Civ 5. It was the best choice I could think of.
That's a pretty good one, actually.
I did.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I that was the custom. That was custom award. It's the best. It was the best thing I could think of. Actually,
I like it.
The custom
Thanks.
award that I did was I nominated the 2005 Star Wars Battlefront 2 as the best Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Best
well,
Star
it
Wars
does deserve that award. That's for sure.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah, by the way, there's like an award for a game that makes you feel like the most physically ill, or like compels you the most physically, and I, of course, gave that to Crypt of the Necrodancer because not only has it made me feel nauseous, it also makes my heart beat right alongside the character. So,
yeah, you're going
right.
through 4.3, and your heart's going at 160 BPM. It's like
I put my hand against my chest and it matches the beat perfectly. So
that's called game immersion.
It's called immersion, guys.
Yes,
immersion.
And one last thing I want to mention in news: League of Legends has their All-Star game coming up. That will be December 7th. It's in LA this year, so if you're out in the Southwest, you can potentially check that out. So that's it. That's all I had. So you guys got anything else you want to add? If not,
nope.
We're going to the playlist. Boom. That's right.
Oh shit! What the hell just happened? Holy crap!
I just woke everyone up. This is great. We
That's
are going to talk about what we've been playing and what games we recommend, or maybe games we don't recommend, starting with the guy who has been slaughtering turkeys for the past 3 months. Mr. Shosan, what have you been up to while you've been gone?
Crazy. My job is unreal.
By the way, thanks for all your work. It was delicious. Very much.
Thank you. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, I work in the turkey processing plant. So we take the live stuff and turn it into the stuff on your dinner plate. But anyway, as soon as they mentioned the Steam sale, my wallet cried.
Yeah, I fell victim to the Steam sale as well. We'll get to that later, though.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get it here. So I mentioned Dragon Ball Xenoverse. It looked interesting, so why not? Big one though for me lately has been Assassin's Creed Origins. Holy crap! Like this for me, Brotherhood was probably my favorite Assassin's Creed, but this one just absolutely blows everything away. It's It's a lot of fun. It's not quite as, I guess you would say, linear on rails, right? You can literally go anywhere, do anything at any time, and there's rewards and everything else for it. Not to mention, of course, that the game is absolutely beautiful in 4K. If you haven't seen it, go watch someone who's got a 4K. It's beautiful.
I've actually heard that this game was kind of bad in the series, but you seem to enjoy it.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I mean,
fair.
I'm still in the middle of it because I find myself doing more side quests than main quests.
Yeah, to each their own. I'm sure there's people that love the microtransactions in Battlefront 2.
Well, yeah, and there are microtransactions in Origins, right? But I haven't touched them. I have no need for it. Everything that they have in there is, well, a lot of the big sellers, you can buy 3 ability points instead of having to achieve 3 levels, or it can give you X amount of money, you know, if you buy it. There's not really a need for that. I've never had an issue where I'm going, yeah, I really shouldn't buy this, but maybe I will. There's no need. There really isn't. So yeah, overall, I've enjoyed that quite a bit. And then since I had a few days off, I've been playing with my VR set a bit more, and I picked up the Lab off Steam.
That's fun.
Which, if you don't know, it takes place in the Aperture Science universe, but it's a different laboratory, and they're just fun little games. They're mini games like archery or slingshot, stuff like that. I did get to disassemble. Was it Peabody, the round
Hey, yeah.
robot? Yeah. Anyway, that was a lot of fun.
Wait, they're both round though.
No,
Well,
the one is oval
Yeah,
shaped.
yeah, Peabody is the one with the turret shaped body, and
Yeah, blue one. And
Atlas
the
is the
orange
one
one
with
is like oval shaped.
Atlas.
Atlas is the one with the like spherical, like Wheatley shaped
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. Okay, so it was Atlas. That's who you take apart. But no, it's a fun little game. So I've been getting to play with that. But that's about it, honestly. Oh, honorable mention, of course, Mario Odyssey on my Switch, because that's a brilliant game as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Very nice. Have you been glitching the hell out of it?
I haven't. In fact, I'm still struggling very much with the triple jump. There's something about the Switch's sticks that's, I don't know, I can't go in one straight direction anymore.
Yeah, I've heard that Super Mario Odyssey is like a glitch fest.
Yeah, it's weird, but there's a lot of kind of cool glitches. It's weird. It was a game that was built for both pro players and beginner players. And what I mean is there's an obvious path, you know, for how to get to where you need to go. But if you know how to do the hat jumps, if you know some of these special little tricks, you can almost completely bypass a level in no time, you know, and get right there. So it's kind of a cool 3-dimensional thing.
Fantastic. All right, Dan, what have you been up to?
I haven't been in for a little bit, so I have been playing some more Dragon Age because I realized it's like 50 gigs sitting on my hard drive, and I should probably finish it and delete it.
Jesus, if I did that with all my games, I would have no time for life.
Yeah, well, I just want to finish it up. In the meantime, I also installed Warframe, which is also like 50 gigs. There was free Twitch Prime loot, and a coworker was playing it, so I figured I'd check it out. It's kind of fun. I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's like space ninjas doing stuff, and it's kind of hop in, hop out. And speaking of that, I've been playing some Diablo 3, some season 12, I think we're on.
Season 12, yep.
And I got a augment with a 50 gem, and then I'll get my extra tab, and then I'll probably finish the season journey playing Barb. It's pretty fun. And some Destiny 2. That's about it.
Pent, I gotta ask about Destiny 2. Just my own curiosity. I played the first one.
Mhm.
Wasn't a big fan of it. Is this more of the same, or is this somewhat new?
I didn't play the first one. So I
Okay.
can't really tell you, but I understand that the first one was really like unclear what the hell was happening. The story was very
Pretty vague.
vague. This one, like, it's a pretty short story, but it's pretty clear, I think, what's happening.
Right.
Other than not really having, if you didn't play the first one, I'm like, okay, so there's like a weird giant planet thing and it gives people magic and makes them immortal. Okay.
Yeah.
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 But the story basically explains what's happening within the story. And then after that, there's kind of explanation for what you're doing. But then it's very, Diablo, right? You just go out and do little missions until you get better gear.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Very cool.
Yep.
Mr. Soto, what have you been up to?
All right, I kind of mentioned this before the podcast. Basically, like whenever I get really frustrated with something like Crypt of the Necrodancer, like the thing is that just today, you want to know what killed my Melody Deathless streak?
A spirit?
Spirit? No, it was actually really late, and I had maximum health basically.
Surrounded on goo.
Nope.
Wow.
Even better. I
Were you
had Ring of
surrounded?
Mana
Ring of Mana.
and the bomb spell.
Bombs.
Guess what
Did
happened
you
from there?
Blow yourself up.
Duh.
Jesus.
Yeah, like I don't understand why it kills you one hit guaranteed no matter what. Why can't it just leave me with half a heart?
To be fair, it won't kill you in one hit. It does 3 hearts worth of damage.
Nope, no, it did like 8 hearts. I checked. I replayed it.
Were you on goo?
No, I wasn't on goo.
Oh,
It killed me at for over 8 hearts of damage, and that's that. I didn't have a potion, so I didn't have a chance to survive that.
Is that what I thought? I thought it made it do grenade. Maybe you're right. Maybe it does infinite damage.
It does do infinite damage to everything. Yeah, like the thing is that the way I died with the Nocturna was also unexpected. Basically, I was
what it does is infinite damage.
like the thing is that like I was kind of struggling with health, and then I entered a King Konga boss fight, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to use bat form to farm the zombies for some extra health. But then I was having trouble with it. I was kind of struggling. I kind of made a few mistakes, and then I ended up transforming from the bat with half a heart, and I didn't.
I've done that on a Deathless run.
And
Feels bad, man.
You want to know what the twist is? I had a potion, but it didn't work.
Nope, doesn't work.
Didn't work.
It's fantastic.
Yay.
Because all your
10
do not count when you're in bat form, including the potion.
So you want to know what I do to take the edge off after something like that?
Wait,
Yeah, I already told
are
you.
Are you on the run from the law right now?
Maybe.
What do you do?
Wait, why'd you even ask that?
Because I would be killing people.
Oh. Yeah, I just don't have the muscles for that.
Just a little slow.
You don't need muscles. You just need good, utility weapons.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can't afford any of
This
those.
is getting dark. Let's. What do you do?
Speaking of,
When you get so salty about a game, you go to
Dark Souls because
Wow.
it's relaxing.
that. Sounds like
I know, right?
horrible idea.
Like,
on,
it's like I hate
Yeah,
my
okay.
life. I hate my life, but I have this knife sitting right here next to me. Why don't I just go ahead and commit seppuku?
Okay,
That's what
so
I heard.
That's what I
Alright,
heard
so-
too. I mean, you're not alone, show. Anyway, go ahead.
the thing is that Dark Souls is a game that I'm very, very familiar with. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I know, like I've committed to memory every single enemy position in the entire game with a few exceptions. So
That's good.
the thing is that with that knowledge and like with creating a build that's meant to not die, like a tanky knight build with a huge shield and a huge weapon, like Dark Souls is very methodical and very relaxing and very great game to unwind with and gather my thoughts. And that's actually what I've literally been doing on the Discord. I've been writing down like a long form analysis of like a lot of thoughts I have about the game's design and like its place in the series,
Nice.
And
Have you ever tried speedrunning it?
Nope.
I was just gonna
That's literally the opposite of what I
That-
can do.
Well, if you know the position of every mob and everything, it seems
Like,
yeah,
like
that would be a
think-
huge help.
I think that the thing that the reason I haven't speedrunned it is because I haven't forced myself to, because I just don't enjoy speedrunning all that much, even with something like Dark Souls that I
There you
know
go.
of top and bottom.
You
To
prefer
be
more
fair,
chill.
To be fair, speedrunning is not for everyone.
No,
That's definitely
it's
true
not.
because things can get extremely frustrating. Like when I play tempo, I have to have an absolutely perfect zone 1. If I get down to the boss at anything more than a minute, I know that I am not going to PB, and it's been a waste of time. Don't continue, and it's so frustrating because you want to play the game so bad, but you can't because you don't have a start that lets you. And
Yeah, like
it's-
that's why I like playing Deathless, because all I gotta do is get to the end without dying. So whatever caused me to not die works.
Yeah.
very cool. Anything else?
Maybe I could like mention a couple things that have really been on my mind today.
Nope,
Like-
absolutely not. Moving on.
Shosan,
No,
How rude.
no.
Shosan is big of an ass as ever.
Yep.
All right, so when you think of Dark Souls, what's one of the first things you think of?
Murder.
Murder.
What's one of the first things that you can think of when something is about to attack you? In Dark
Oh, shit.
Oh
Souls?
shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
No, like what do you immediately do when something attacks you in Dark Souls?
Shit myself.
Run
What
away.
Wait, you get to run away first?
I do. I try.
You don't shit yourself first?
No.
Oh, man.
That's that. Okay, I got away. Oh shit! I shit myself.
Okay, what I'm trying to get at here is that when people think of Dark Souls, they usually think that you roll whenever there's an attack that you need to avoid,
Mhm.
and that's just what you're supposed to do. Especially if they've just played Dark Souls 3 and seen people play the other two games,
Mhm.
like they think, oh yeah, you roll out of the way because it uses the least stamina and you won't take damage and everything. But the thing is that wasn't always completely the case. I think the best example of this in Dark Souls 1 is the Taurus demon. He's like a giant minotaur thing with this giant hammer on a very narrow bridge, and the best way to dodge his attacks is actually just to move forward and backward depending on where his attack is going to land. Like if he's doing an overhead swing that hits right in front of him, then it's easy to just back step away from it.
Right.
Like no rolling or running required. Like things like that are concessions made for heavier characters as opposed to like lighter characters. That like, because the dodge roll when you're above 50% equipment load is like just throwing yourself onto the ground and picking yourself up. It does have iframes, but it's not meant to really dodge much. So, like the thing is that Dark Souls is like been kind of I've been partially theorizing about this, but I think that Dark Souls' design has been like molded by its the public perception of it, where like I mentioned this at one point when I was rambling that there's a cycle where people who've played Dark Souls for long enough decide that whenever they want to play it again, they want to have fun with it, so they basically just have no armor and a huge weapon, no shield, and then people that are new to the series usually see that as the norm, and assume that that's the best way to play Dark Souls. And then when if a new entry in the series like Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3 comes out and they decide they want to start with that one, then like of course they're going to assume that rolling is always the best thing to do and to avoid enemy attacks. So
Interesting.
like the thing is that FromSoft doesn't really have much of a choice. If they want to make it more accessible, they need to make it so that rolling is by far the best option, and that it was definitely the case in Dark Souls 3, where it took barely any stamina to roll. All you need to do is be below 70% equip load to get the best or not best roll, but the good roll. You get tons of iframes. Basically, and everything has so much tracking that you're just meant to press the roll button every single time something's about to damage you. That's basically
kind of
the
how
end.
the meta for that evolved.
Yeah, it's the end result of that whole
Interesting,
whole general perception of it. But
Cool.
I've been doing an experiment where I play as the heaviest character I possibly can, and I try not to roll out of attacks when I can help it, and see how often.
And now
it
you're
feels like-
building the meta for Dark Souls 4 is what you're doing.
yeah, hopefully.
pretty much.
So like I'm seeing how often it feels like I'm forced to take damage, and I think that culminated in the last thing that I just did. I fought Ornstein Smo solo, no magic, with the heaviest dodge roll possible. Basically, it's one of the hardest bosses in the game because you fight two difficult bosses at the same time, but like, and they can both attack independently of each other. And you're supposed to summon someone to help you out, but I didn't. So, like, thing is that with my giant shield, it was enough to keep me alive for the whole fight. And so
There you go.
I only need to roll like 5 times during the whole thing. So
Very
Nice.
cool. Yeah. Anything else you've been playing last? How's the other project going?
I actually kind of took a break from that for now. I haven't really
Fair
gotten back into it, but I'm hoping I
Yeah,
can
that's how my
continue.
projects go too. They like come and
Yeah.
go. I've like been trying to redesign the bot for this Discord server. I was really into that this last week, and then since Thanksgiving, it's been like, nah, I don't want to touch it. Tell you what I have been touching though.
Oh God, Ron.
That's a
People
segue.
do
It's a
listen
good
to this.
segue. It's a good segue. I have been assaulting androids with a cactus.
You can't
yeah.
assault androids with a cactus.
You
Yeah,
sure
and-
can
yeah, and I
because there's a
found a-
game called Assault Android Cactus. Damn right I can.
And also, I found documentary on how, like, on the making of Cactus Assault. Did you see that on the Discord?
I missed
Oh,
it.
I did see
I'll
that.
have to look at this. I completely missed it.
That's
Okay,
great.
yeah, I see it now. Yes. So it's not that you're assaulting androids with a cactus. The main character's name is Cactus, and she's an assault android. So it's Assault Android Cactus. That's how it works. And it's a really cool game. I actually found this by watching a guy called Quest for Semi-Glory, also known as Mr. Bond, and he's been at GDQ playing this game before. But I found him because he also plays Sublevel Zero and Crypto the Necrodancer on his stream. So I'm like, okay, this guy's pretty cool. I'll check him out. And this is his main game, is AAC. And I actually picked that up because it was on sale for $7.50 on the Steam Autumn sale. Fuck you, Gabe. Take my goddamn money. Yeah, it's all in all, it's been a very worth investment. If you like twin stick shooters and you like cheesy character lines and you like games that are kind of hard but not terribly hard, you'll like this game with one exception. And that exception comes in the form of Licorice.
Okay.
Licorice is the second to last boss, and I can't get this fight. I don't understand the fight. Like, I get to the fight and I can beat it maybe 1 out of 20 attempts.
I had that on Cuphead, actually. There was one boss in particular, could not figure out the pattern.
King Dice.
And the thing is that, you know,
I think it was.
AAC is a game that's basically a shoot 'em up twin stick. And this is the one fight in the game that goes against that. Because what you're doing is you're fighting somebody who's exactly like your character. You require battery to survive. You can die as many times as you want as long as you still have a battery. She's the same way. So if you kill her, she's not dead. She will resurrect just like you do. And what happens is that during the normal course of the game, when a battery spawns, you pick up the battery, life goes on. In this fight, when a battery spawns, you have to fight fucking Licorice to get that damn battery. And if it's spawned over by her, you're fucked. She's gonna pick it up. And if she picks up enough of them, she what did you say?
Yay, RNG.
No, I'm gonna get to that in a second. If you spawn enough by her and she gets more than you do, you die. You beat her by taking all the batteries from her. So it's very frustrating. I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. But I'm just like at the point where I just want to tear my hair out playing this game. I'm trying to play through all the characters. I've done 6 out of the 9. Got 3 more to go, which I'll probably tackle either tonight or tomorrow. And you mentioned RNG. There is no random in Cactus.
None.
The game has no RNG.
Interesting.
So wait, what determines where it spawns then?
There's a couple of formulas that go into it. Generally, every 50 rads you pick up will spawn a battery. There are mechanics that can make one spawn faster.
But what determines the position of the battery then? You mentioned that
the enemy you killed.
So
it basically drops from an enemy for every 50 rads.
wait, so like Okay, never mind then. Like the thing is that
You can control where it spawns if you're aware of this mechanic and you have an idea when you haven't seen one in a while. You know one's coming up. Don't kill an enemy next to Licorice. Well, the problem is she also kills enemies. If she can't find you, if she can't find you because you're out of line of sight, she'll start shooting at enemies, and it might drop a battery, which is just terrible. And then there's the thing where it's just something called loner battery mechanic, where if you're low, it will loan you one, and then the next one won't spawn for quite some time after that. And I've had situations where she gets both of them in a row. And it's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good game. I'm having a lot of fun. The characters are very different. The last character I played, Aubergine, she's got this crazy mechanic where you have a pet, and the pet spins around in circles and just cuts everything up. And so you don't do any damage right in front of you. You do it where this thing's spinning around, but you still have to move around and dodge all the bullets and stuff. So it's kind of fun. Definitely recommend it if you like any type of twin stick games. Little bit of Necrodancer. I've been trying to get my phasing tempo record back. Fuck you, Abu Yuzan. Fuck you. I'll get it back. It will be mine again one day. And then just like Dan said, a little bit Diablo 3, just haven't been getting a lot of time on that, and preparing for the Anomaly next week for Ingress. I will not be on next week's show.
Shame.
So hopefully you'll be here. So
I'm hoping.
So we'll finally be able to talk about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Yeah. Oh God, no, not on my watch.
Yes,
not on my watch.
So by the way, the thing is that boss you mentioned, Ronkley, remind me of a boss near the end of Dark Souls that has a similar kind of problem to it. The thing is that, like, when I brought up Dark Souls, did you want me to explain about how frustrating it was? Because I can do that if you want.
That's fine. I think a lot of people are very familiar with how frustrating Dark Souls can be. But
yeah. So near the end of the second half of the game involves you like being able to go after these 4 bosses in any order, a la Super Metroid, but with no predefined order. So like one of the bosses is the 4 Kings. Basically they're a bunch of spooks in an endless abyss. And like the thing is that the way the fight works is interesting, I should say. Like it's a DPS race in a game that literally has the opposite for every other encounter in the game. Where like normally, like if you just stay alive long enough to defeat a bunch of enemies in an area, then you're making the fight easier. And like when there's multiple bosses, then defeating one will make the fight pretty much over. So with the 4 Kings, on the other hand, the way the fight works is, well, first of all, the thing that really limits you is that you normally have 2 ring slots in Dark Souls for 2 passive buffs that are typically very powerful. For the 4 Kings fight, you're forced to give up 1 ring slot just so you can stand in the middle of nothing.
Oh, fun.
And the fight is a DPS race because the way it works is spawns 1 boss who then fights you for a short while until another identical one spawns, and then another one after another period of time, and then there can be up to 4 of them, and by that point you can't win, basically.
So yeah, just
basically, it's basically you have to min max to be able to defeat them all one by one, and basically it's just a nightmare to play through blind. It's basically what stonewalled me in my first playthrough because I wasn't trying to min max. So like I just couldn't understand how I could do enough damage in time.
Right. Yep.
And not only that,
Fair
but
enough.
all their melee swings do magic damage. So you can't use that super awesome shield you had to block 100% of their attacks damage. So
yeah,
that kind of sucks.
All right, so I think that's going to wrap up this section of the show, and we're going to go on to the final half of the show, the third half of the show.
It is the third half of the
It is the
show.
third
It's my
half of the
favorite half of the show.
Of course, every half is your favorite half of the show.
It's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. I don't know how you manage it.
It's mathematically the same thing as dividing by 0. Fun fact.
It's
Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ponder that thought for a minute.
Thinking face. Yeah, that's interesting. So, this is a 6 gaming roundtable where we're gonna ask you guys a question that we totally do not have prepared. I'm hoping Shosan has one this week.
No.
You have been
I'm
out
actually
for
tapped out
3
today.
months,
Yeah, thinking anything but games, sadly.
and you don't have a podcast
I
roundtable
don't.
something for us.
Holy crap. I'm tapped out. I mean, we've already kind of talked about a lot of things that bother me, aka microtransactions. So
Yeah, we've actually been talking quite a bit about microtransactions, and last week's was interesting about how does EA dig out of the hole they're in.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't.
I mean, you can only go so deep, guys.
Yeah, they've already made their bed years ago, like with stuff like shutting down all those studios in the past and making stuff like releasing stuff like SimCity and Sims 4,
Yep. I don't really know if there's anything else we can add on to this. I mean, we've been
we've pretty much hammered it home.
We've been hammering on poor EA.
I did want to talk though that I was looking a bit at the whole lawmaker section that we were talking about and the legislature and everything that's trying to go through.
Right.
This is just kind of my commentary, but it seems every time video games have come up as far as, a law or request for legislation, regulation, however you want to do it, it usually ends very badly for gaming, right? These are done by people who aren't gamers. They're either too old or simply not interested in video games.
Data caps.
I say too old, meaning they didn't grow up with it. It was never a thing until much later in their life. So why bother? That's what I mean by too old. But I really, every time I see that something comes up as far as law or any of that's concerned with gaming, I always cringe. I mean, because I know that the worst is coming, and usually that bothers me. So I mean, I would hope that you guys, I guess, are of the same mind.
I really don't know what to think, because I do think that the whole microtransaction thing, something needs to happen, and
yes, but
I'm beginning to feel that it's getting to the point where these companies like Activision and EA and anyone else doing this shit is starting to take advantage of the players, and that's when the lawmakers are going to step in.
Yeah, I think
the whole thing with when they realize that these companies are not selling their goods, they're preying on kids and other vulnerable parts of society to basically extract every last possible dollar from them.
Right.
I think that the gambling laws are probably a good idea, because pretty much takes care of that problem for the most part.
Now, while I don't disagree with microtransactions when used correctly, it's getting to the point now where maybe something should be done. But I just don't think let's put it this way. I think something should be done. I do not trust our government to do it correctly.
Right. I mean, I'm a fairly pragmatic kind of person, right? So I guess the flip side, I don't know. I got to kind of formulate this to say it right.
Go for it.
Well, it's like in the very beginning, the early days of my gaming life, I always said I will never pay a subscription. This was Phantasy Star Online. I'm not going to pay to play a game. I'm not going to do the subscription crap. That is they're just mining for every dollar they can get. Right. And then I kind of embraced WoW, and they've got so much of my money. It's unreal.
Yep.
So that became a thing. So is this growing pain, or is this is this actually becoming a legitimate problem? That's the flip side, I guess.
Yeah. I think it is kind of becoming a problem. But at the same time, like I said, I really don't trust government to step in. So it's really going to be up to us, the players, to do something about this.
I hope so.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, the reason that I think that gambling laws are a good idea here is because there are people with addictive personalities that like that, like,
yeah,
well,
totally.
If something is actually replicating actual gambling, then it should be legislated like gambling is.
Well, now the crap that EA does, where they're overpricing this stuff or going overboard with it, I'm starting to like the reaction that I'm seeing amongst gamers with FIFA, with Star Wars.
Right.
The crap, this wasn't EA, but the Lord of the Rings one, people were upset about that as well. People are starting to catch on that this is BS. And maybe this will get them to turn around, maybe not. Like I said last week, in EA's case, that change has to come from within the company. Anything that we do outside the company is not going to change them until they within the company change. And I don't see that happening.
I do need to side with you on this one, Ron. And a quick plug, if you are of voting age, go check out the Video Game Voters Network. I've been with these guys for a while now, and it follows video game legislation and stuff like that. And you can write to your congressman. You can obviously vote in some of these sort of situations. It's a great resource. And
if I may, videogamevoters.org.
.org. Thank you. And it goes with what you're saying, right? We as gamers, we do need to at least voice our opinion, right? And confront these things in a positive way, I guess. And the same thing goes in this kind of a different way, but the FCC now looking into lifting the internet. What do you call it?
Net neutrality.
Yeah, net neutrality. That's a big issue. I'm not going to go into it. Please do read up on net neutrality, how it works, how it doesn't, and educate yourself, because this is a big deal, and this means a lot to literally the entire U.S. This will affect everybody. Learn about it. Go vote. Say what you have to say. But use these resources is ultimately what I'm trying to get at. There are, again, of voting age, you can go out and group up with other people who may or may not feel the same way, but you can still get your voice out there. And please help. Some things like microtransactions do need to get stopped. And if you see a better way, put that out there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So. But yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely looking at the legal aspect of this is definitely worth it, just simply because if this continues to go unchecked and the gamers don't respond to this like they have been in the last few games, I mean, like if this is just a passing fad and then EA does something, we're just going to disguise it so that it isn't quite the same thing, but you're still paying out the ass. Something's going to happen, and I'm kind of afraid of what that something is.
It's like voting for Hitler. That's what you're doing. You're allowing Hitler into office. So yeah, I went there. Okay, too soon.
That is not a vote I cast in 2016. Just putting it out.
Too spoony.
Hashtag too soon.
Too soon.
Too spoony.
Well, yeah, unless we have anything else on the subject.
No, I think
it's a good subject.
Days.
We could talk for days about the whole.
Yeah.
I think just kind of like take a brief look at the legality of this and where that's could potentially go. It gets in your mind what could become of this whole deal that pretty much started with Battlefront 2. I mean, it didn't really start with Battlefront 2. There was the Lord of the Rings game as well, but I mean that wasn't anywhere near as publicized. Didn't get almost 1 million downvotes on Reddit, stuff like that. So, so there's that. So that's going to do it for this week, guys. Like I said, I'm going to be out next week. Hopefully we'll have someone here next week to pick up my slack. I'm going to be busy.
Like me.
I'm going to be busy celebrating my win over the futile resistance.
Oh, jeez.
Those guys don't know what they're in for. I mean, they're going to, it's so funny because, okay. So quick story. We do these things called farms, and that basically means we get a whole bunch of us together, usually about 8 people together in one location, build up a bunch of portals that are in the same area to level 8, and put these things called frackers on it, which doubles its output for 10 minutes. And so it's called a farm because you're farming gear. Well, we had someone on the other side show up because, they can benefit from it as well, or they can try and stop us, things like that. There's a lot of intricacies I'm not going to get into, but basically someone from the other side showed up, and we ended up talking with the guy for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And at the end of the 10 minutes, one of the guys that we were talking with, he was talking to the other guy. He's like, well, I look forward to celebrating a victory over you on December 2nd. And the guy's response was, I have no doubt in my mind that that's exactly what's going to happen. To give you an idea, Resistance has not won a West Coast anomaly in 3 years.
Yeah.
So we're not expecting anything to change there. So, yeah.
Hey, by the way, before we wrap up the podcast, I
Yep.
just want to mention something. Like I mentioned this on the Discord server. I don't know if you saw this part of the conversation, but basically, I was thinking maybe we could have some sort of event where we invite viewers to purposefully roast us, and come up with troll comments for us to react to.
And you're saying this with Obadiah watching.
Oh God.
We are
What do you
fucked.
mean?
We are fucked, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, geez, I'm too new to this. I don't know anything.
Oh my God.
I'm just thinking it could be a lot of fun,
Oh God.
Oh, we might have to do something.
I actually, I'll go give him
We
a
need-
hard time anyway because I'm actually
we
getting ready to
need-
jump into a
we-
game with him.
We need to get Salitha on here for that.
Oh God, yes we do. Oh God, the Raging Bear. Yes,
We would be so.
please.
What sucks is that she's going to be working every Saturday until the end of the year.
Oh no,
But that's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
that would be good.
Yeah. So we're gonna take off here. Thank you guys for watching. We of course are the Six Gaming Podcast. You can find us and everything we do over at six.gg, six.gg, including our wonderful Discord server, our wonderful archive of podcasts over on YouTube, and anything else we feel like coming up with. Twitter account, Facebook.
Yeah, it's all
Never
there
use them,
somewhere.
but they're there. I still use the Twitter account
Do you? Fantastic.
occasionally, usually only for BlizzCon.
I abandoned
That's about it.
Twitter.
I haven't abandoned Twitter's.
Well-
Twitter's like my main social media these days. Facebook can go suck it. far as
Yeah,
I'm
well, I
Yeah.
prefer not to use either. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, my Twitter's been hacked twice, so I abandoned it. You know what I mean? I don't know how
Who the
they
fuck
got.
are you, Cole Saratha? Next
I
thing
know,
you know, you're
I
going to
don't
tell us
know.
you're into gay porn.
No, not yet. Not
Not-
yet. That's
not
later in life. That's, that's my 50-year-old. I got nothing better to do.
But
sort of
anyway,
thing.
let me see if I get this phrase right. I would be remiss if I didn't let my awesome and illustrious co-hosts say goodbye, starting with Mr. Shosan. It was so great to have you back this week.
Thank you, and well done, Ron.
I still feel you're like the heart and soul of this podcast. Just
I
been so
know.
long without you, and it's like,
I'm working on it.
get the
Yep.
fuck back here.
I am. That's what sucks is
Ah.
I work all summer and then I get kind of winter off,
Mhm.
and that cycle continues. Well, yeah, my summers are shot until I find
And
another
so-
job.
Yeah, and so I bet that's what you're going to be doing this winter, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't get laid off. I'm not seasonal. I work, all the time.
yeah, that's
but,
my wife is in a similar situation. She's
Yeah, it's just I
doesn't
work
all
nights.
year, but she's not seasonal.
Right. Yeah, I work nights during the season, and then in winter I work on days.
No.
So
Cool.
yeah, but anyway, thank you guys so very much for having me. Happy to be back, definitely.
Yeah, no problem.
Get back here some more. And Mr. Solomel,
Praising in the sun.
Praise
only the sun.
Get
Yeah.
it? Because
Only the
praise
sun.
the sun.
Yes.
Praising in this. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Got it. Check. And me, I'll be around. I'm probably gonna get back to a streaming schedule December 4th after the anomaly, but I actually have no plans as to what I'm gonna do. I might be ditching some shows or bringing some shows back. I don't know.
Are you still running the wheel?
I am. It's one of the ones I'm thinking of ditching, to be honest.
Wow. Okay. I like the idea. I thought that was
I
kinda
like the
cool.
idea too. It was interesting. It got me playing a lot of cool games, like The Witness, for instance.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's because now it's to the point where it would just be playing achievements, and the damn thing's going to roll up fucking Amnesia every time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't play that game.
And I got the
so-
one achievement in that game that I want.
Which one?
Nope.
Oh
I-
God.
I,
Yeah.
I got. Oh, I want to mention that I'm really stumbling. What I'm trying to say is that I finished it for Halloween, and I got the best ending too. So that's nice.
Very cool. All right. Yep. I'll be around. So, for the Six Gaming Podcast, thanks again for watching. And until next week, Shosan, take it away.
See ya. Bye.